Now, nearly 1.5 million Filipinos work in the business process outsourcing sector. Let's now talk about the proposal to keep the status quo of work from home arrangements with IBPAP President and CEO Jack Madrid. Good evening, Jack. As the NCR and several other areas shift to alert level 1, what is now your workplace policy for the BPO industry?
Thank you very much, David. It's good to be here. We don't actually have a fixed policy, but rather, companies in our industry, and depending on their clients as well, with the health and well-being of our employees first and foremost, we will comply with health regulations and maintain what we feel is a sound balance between, working from home and working on site. So there is actually no fixed percentage that we try to maintain.
What is the sentiment of call center employees on the return to office setup? Do they have the liberty, or can they choose whether to continue working from home or they have to report back to the office?
Each of our member companies and players in the industry have their own preferences depending on the industry, depending on the vertical, depending on the global customer that they serve. So your question on sentiment, obviously, we have all experienced working from home or a hybrid approach in the past 2 years. So there are definitely advantages and disadvantages, in both setups. So what I feel is the general sentiment is moving towards a combination of working from site and working from home. So we are referring to this now as a hybrid work arrangement. That's the present sentiment based on my observations.
We understand your group is pushing to extend the remote work incentives policy until September this year. Why is this important for the BPO industry?
Well, what we are actually requesting for, David, is a smooth transition towards a balance of transitioning our operations in a safe and healthy manner to allow our employees to transition back into that hybrid work arrangement that I mentioned earlier. Just as quickly as we during the height of COVID, just as quickly as we transitioned and moved both cargo and personnel to enable our Filipino employees to deliver their services, from their homes, we will need that same transition periods to allow our employees to safely get back into work while accommodating their preferred hybrid work arrangement. Mm-hmm. So we are all still trying to figure it out. But all we are seeking is an extension to allow us that smooth transition and a longer runway towards some kind of normal moving forward.
Right. The country's BPO sector employs around 1.4 million Filipinos. Do we expect more call centers adding manpower as we ease restrictions and we open the economy?
Our industry has actually developed very impressively in the past 2 decades. No longer is it just the contact center services, but we've actually diversified into complex verticals, including healthcare, including financial services like banking and insurance, as well as on the creative front, animation and gaming. So it's become much more complex with different kinds of skills needed by our Filipino workforce. So, having said that, I think there is only higher and higher demand for Filipino talent, globally, and even during the worst of the lockdowns during the pandemic, our industry was one of the very few that actually grew in both headcount and revenue. Mm-hmm. And in 2021, impressively, 8% increase in headcount, 12% increase in revenue. And the signs are in 2022, we're going to see similar trends. So there is no shortage of demand from all over the world for Filipino talent. And we are ready to provide that talent. We just need some runway towards that new normal that we are all looking forward to.
Right. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you very much, IBPAP President and CEO, Jack Madrid.